A very warm welcome back to the FootballMartin channel. We are back with some live streams. The Premier League returns this weekend as Southampton host Man United at St Mary's, and we're going to be previewing the game this evening here on my channel. And I want you guys to get involved in the comments as well, and we will get you guys involved. I've got a very special guest joining me this evening, a gentleman that's been joining me a lot on TikTok over the last couple of months, and is a guest that I really wanted to bring here to the FootballMartin channel because he speaks so well. A good friend of mine. We've built up a good friendship over the summer. I'd like to welcome along to the FootballMartin show this evening, Adam Boyce. Adam, thank you very much for joining me for the match preview of the Saints versus Man United. How you doing, my friend?
I'm very good, Martin. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm in good form, mate. Looking forward to the Premier League returning this weekend. Give me your thoughts on that international break. How do you feel about international breaks?
Well, when England win, they're all right. And when they play well, like they done first half in particular against Ireland, it's all right. But, we want Premier League all the time. We want to see the Saints all the time. So as nice as it was to see England win, I'm glad Saints are back.
Yeah, no, glad Saints are back. Let's just go back to that that start of the season. We're 3 games in. It's still very early days, isn't it? A defeat last time round at the hands of Brentford in London. It was a tough day for Russell and the boys, wasn't it?
It was. Unfortunately, I think, it's the same mistakes that have cost us the first 2 games, right? Caught in possession and I think not nearly as much intensity as what got us to the Premier League in the first place. So you just have to hope that over this international break, the players that were with the team have been working on some stuff, because if there's ever a game that you want to try and impress, it's on the telly against a big team like United. So hopefully they've ironed some stuff out.
Yeah, no, it's a big one. There's loads to talk about, loads to cover ahead of this one. Just looking over the international break, you're talking about players coming back. There's been a few away on international duty. So I thought what we'll do is a little roundup of what's been going on for everybody that's maybe sort of like had a little bit of club downtime. So the international roundup involving Southampton players is as follows. Ben Brereton Diaz, he may return from international duty. He's been away with Chile. I'm not sure what his confidence will be like, Boise, because he was taken off in the 35th minute of his country's 2-1 defeat in the World Cup qualifying defeat to Bolivia on Tuesday night. The striker did not appear to be injured. Russell Martins confirmed that today in his press conference. Brereton Diaz not injured, but he was pulled off in the 35th minute. He only played 10 minutes against Argentina in their first game. So he travelled a lot of miles, mate, for not a lot of football.
Yeah, and it's a real shame, and I can't really help but feel for him, because kind of he got this big move back to the Premier League in the summer, and I feel he's been a bit hard done by, really, I don't think he's playing in his best position. I think this whole wide striker forward thing that Russell tried to get going on with the back 5, it hasn't worked, and you can say the same for Armour, but for Ben Brereton Diaz, I mean, kind of it tops off a pretty tough start to the season, right? Being subbed off 35 minutes into a game that, he's a big part for that Chile team. He's a very talented footballer. We know that. So I hope it won't do his confidence too much damage, but I just want to see us getting back out on that left wing, because then I really think that's where we're going to get the best out of him. But it does suck for him for sure.
Well, if he starts against Man United at the weekend and Southampton fail to win, he will break the record for the Premier League's most appearances without winning a game. So hopefully, if he is on the pitch, we get that result on the weekend. Right, elsewhere in international duty for Southampton players, Will Smallbone, who's endured maybe a tough couple of games for Southampton, come under a fair bit of criticism from some of the fan base. His Irish national side are on a dismal run at this moment in time. They've won just 2 of their last 12 fixtures, with one of those victories coming against Gibraltar, who are not the greatest international side going right now. Smallbone was awarded a Man of the Match award, Boise, the other night. However, he said he was embarrassed to receive it. I don't think they played well at all as a side, and the stadium announcer announced that Smallbone was the Man of the Match in that game, and it was met, unfortunately, by a round of boos. But I think it was probably more the performance of the Irish side than anything else.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Irish are very passionate about their football, aren't they? And they, first and foremost, want to see performances over individual accolades. I mean, as a Saints fan, it's great to see Will get a bit of recognition. And yeah, as you say, he has enjoyed a couple of tough games to start the season off. It's great for him, but it's congratulations.
Tough one against England. Tough one against England,
Yeah,
wasn't it, for Ireland? Really, really tough one. England ran the show. I thought they looked really poor at times. Ireland, enduring a really tough moment. Someone that has been playing well for Southampton, I think he's been fairly decent with the start of the season. Jan Bednarek, he's played plenty of football. He's played every minute of Poland's 2 National League openers. The defender was a part of a last minute winner against Scotland on Thursday before suffering a 1-0 defeat to Croatia on Sunday. He played in both games. Elsewhere, boys, 2 young men that have been outstanding at the start of this season. Youngsters Sam Amieo and Tyler Dibbling, they've had plenty of game time. Both of the England under-19s, they had 3 friendlies in the space of 6 days. Starting with a 2-2 draw against Italy. The pair featured for 30 minutes in that one and 15 minutes respectively before starting in the 1-1 tie with Croatia. They also played Germany and they lost 3-2 in their final outing. Sam Amieo was unbelievable, apparently. He really impressed from the start of the game. And Tyler Dibbling come off the bench, Boise, to score as well.
Brilliant. I mean, it's great, right? Southampton were built and had that reputation of bringing these exciting players through the youth academy, Bale, Walcott, James Ward-Prowse later on. And it feels like it kind of went away for a few years. But these 2 boys, I mean, Dibbling obviously is getting all that love right now in the Premier League, as he should when he's come on. But you can't forget about Sam Amieo. I mean, they're 2 fantastic footballers. And they're 2 players that I'm really glad we've kept beyond the transfer window. And I'm glad that Russell seems to be giving them some proper decent minutes. In fact, I want to see them get more minutes. And lots of Saints fans want to see them get more minutes.
Absolutely.
It's great to have these young players doing so well in international for us. It really is.
Yeah, no, 2 very, very good players. That wraps up everything from our players that went away of any real note anyway. But like you say, really pleased for both Sam Amieo and Tyler Dibbling. Right, we need to go start looking ahead to the weekend's game against Man United at St Mary's. I've got all the statistics ahead of this. Southampton, though, as we know, lost the first 3 games, 3 consecutive defeats. It's the first time the football club have done that in 12 years. Saints have failed to win any of their last 8 top-flight home matches, drawn 2, lost 6, conceded 19 goals in the process. Hopefully we can rectify that the weekend. Southampton have emerged winless from each of the last 15 meetings with Man United. It goes back a fair while. They've drawn 8, lost 7, Boise. Not the greatest record against United in recent times, certainly since we moved from the Dow to St Mary's.
Yeah, I mean, it's United. It's always going to be a tough one to play against them. But I think kind of certain. I mean, like 15, the last 15 visits, the last 15 games, we haven't won against them. You said.
Yeah. So we have emerged winless from their last 15 meetings. Yeah, together.
That's mad. I mean, hopefully we can snap that this weekend. But it's certainly somewhat of a bogey team for us, isn't it, United?
The one thing I would say about this one is I was looking at the statistics ahead of this, and United, they have a little bit of a wayward travelling form, to be honest. In their last 7 league matches, they have produced just 5 points. They've won 1, drawn 2, lost 4. Interesting stat around our new goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. He's let in 19 goals across 9 previous head-to-heads with Man United. He has a positive, though, win-loss record against them. He's won 5 and lost 4. He's definitely a man that will start the game at St Mary's, isn't he, at the weekend? Our new goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale.
It's the first name on the team sheet. I mean, I had just landed. I went on holiday a couple of weeks ago, and I had just landed abroad, and I saw that we had announced the signing of him, not the loan signing, but the permanent signing, and for like 18 million rising to 25. It was almost like a FIFA signing. I mean, he's a brilliant goalkeeper, and you could argue, a bit hard done by Arsenal over the last couple of seasons. But I mean, it's an inspiring signing. He's the first name in the
Brilliant,
team.
isn't it?
He's a player of, he's fantastic. And to have a player of that quality behind the defence, I just really hope it does those lads the world of good, because now, finally, for a lot of those players, they've got a really top quality keeper behind them that can really inspire, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it'll make a massive difference. I'm chuffed to bits with the sign. I think the club have done really, really well to bring him in. It wouldn't have come cheap, that's for sure. But Russell Martin, he had a press conference today. I don't know if you've seen any snippets from it, Boise, but I've got a few of the talking points from it. He was spoken about the scrutiny in the Premier League being so much bigger. Feels it's the same people that are probably asking questions of him that were being asked of the manager this time a year ago after those 4 consecutive defeats in the Sky Bet Championship. Did you find it a little bit crazy that fans and pundits around the country are almost questioning him and whether he should still remain the manager? Is it not a time to give your head a little bit of a wobble right now if you're wanting the manager sacked after three games?
Not just a wobble, just a good bloody shake. Look, you listen. Russell's not without his faults, and he's a very stubborn man, and he prides himself on his system, and I can't thank him enough really for what he's done over the past year and a bit since coming into the club. I mean, getting us back up to the Premier League at the first time of asking in the best way possible. I wouldn't change that day at Wembley for anything on planet Earth. So I do find it very strange. And listen, we knew there was going to be scrutiny coming into the Premier League, the way we want to play, and everybody wants to play this way now. And yes, you're absolutely right, and that will get scrutiny. But it's 3 games into the season. We knew it was going to be tough, And one thing I actually liked about the press conference is Russell came out and said that there will be changes this weekend, and he's found it very tough to make that decision because he wanted to give, he has loyalty to certain players who got us here. And I respect that greatly about him, that he's coming out and owning those decisions. And it shows that in these trying times, he's going to make those changes. So, but, the whole fans wanting him out after 3 games when we've just given him an extension, I don't understand it, because if we had won these 3 games, people will be probably giving him a call for the England job, let's be honest. So it's amazing what results can really make. But me personally, I wouldn't get rid of him anytime soon. I think he'll turn it around. I've got faith in him.
Yeah, I think he'd turn it around. I think a lot of people jumped on him. It's the same people. He was asked today about certain media ex-players that had a bit to say about him. I think Danny Murphy was one of the names mentioned in the press conference by the lady that spoke from Sky Sports News to start with, who's actually very good. She's awesome. She asked some really good questions. I thought the first few questions in the press conference today from the lady at Sky was absolutely outstanding, by the way. She always asks really good questions. She's down here on the South Coast quite a bit. And she spoke about the certain ex-players that had a bit to say, and he said there's a few of those players that would love to be playing in this team right now as well. And I totally agree with him, Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, does Danny Murphy get into this team? I think he's lucky to get on the bench sometimes. But yeah, everybody will have their opinions and takes about it, of course. And, Russell knows that. But that's one thing I like about him, that he's just so open and honest about it. He comes out and he's like, yeah, I know people will have their opinions and stuff. I don't really care. We're going to go about it our way, and if you don't like it, then don't watch us. Simple as. So he's a real character, isn't he? To be honest,
I totally get it. The fact he wanted to show a little bit of loyalty to the people that got us there, absolutely right. I think he had to, and he spoke today a little bit. Now I thought it was quite an interesting quote. He said that he threw a few players in that they signed in the window last year a little bit too early. So I think he's been a little bit mindful about that. Obviously, he's brought the goalkeeper in for the last game, but he's been mindful, and maybe with Cameron Archer, he's done that. I just thought that he's learned from his mistakes last time round.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, there's no harm of having those players to come off the bench. I know one thing that has been a bit of an issue this season is maybe have the subs been brought on at the wrong time, maybe a bit too late. But to have a player like Cameron Archer, who I really hope starts at the weekend, to have a player like that just kind of pushing from the bench, it's not always a bad thing. And, as you say, he might have rushed a few of those players into the team a bit too quickly last window. But again, these are things that will come as this season goes on. And as these players, get up to sharpness and get up to fitness, then they'll be ready for this prime time moment.
Yeah, definitely. Loyalty doesn't win you matches. Your best players do. Russell needs to wake up. I think he certainly mixed it up the weekend. He spoke today in the press conference about he had a gut feeling after the game against Brentford of what he needed to do and what they were going to do going forward. And he said that him and his staff are all in agreement, even now. So I think we'll see changes tomorrow on the weekend. Tomorrow on the weekend, no doubt about it, we'll see changes. But we'll go through that in a minute. There has to be, because there's been 3 defeats, like he said, and when you've had 3 defeats consecutively, yeah, it's tough to drop players, but you have to get your best players on the pitch, like the comment just said. He said he did speak about the huge squad, boys, as well, because he said a few things didn't go to plan. Obviously, I would imagine that being Paul and Oachu, also Kamaldeen Silamana, probably looking to get those players out the door, which they haven't been able to do. He said it's a big squad, bigger than they expected right now.
Yeah, and that's quite crazy to say, because for years Saints always had this very small squad. I mean, I remember one window under Ralph, we got rid of like 2 fullbacks, then we had to put poor Kane Ramsey at right back at Old Trafford, and we know what happened there. Yeah. So we've gone from having too small of a squad to now having this almost a bit bloated squad. And I don't think it's a bad thing, especially in the case of Paul Onachu, who I know he's somebody who's really divided fans, but I think fans are kind of starting to come round a bit on him now. Not because he's potentially this goal scorer that we need, but because he offers us a different dimension up front. You know, Adam Armstrong, we know, isn't a striker. Ross Stewart, injury concerns right there. Mara's gone now. You know, Tyler Dibbling could probably play them and still do a good job, to be honest. But Paul Onachu, he's a big, tall, strong guy. He gives us a different dimension. So I'm really not that unhappy that he's still around. I know the club probably would have wanted to cash in on him and get some more money, and that's absolutely fine. But if he's here, you might as well give the guy a crack. He's here to January at least. So, and again, it comes back to this plan B, which has always been an issue under Russell. What is the plan B? Well, I think a plan C potentially could even be just getting Paul on the pitch, feeding him the ball in the box, and then who knows, he could cause any team trouble in the air.
Yeah, you need options, don't you? I think with any Premier League side, you need options, don't you, to win football games. And Man United are a side that are full of options. It'd be interesting to see how they set up against us. I think he's got some quite big decisions to make, their manager, don't you think? Certainly after that defeat to Liverpool, they're going to need to bounce back big time, you would say. I watched that game. I don't know if you watched it yourself, the Man United-Liverpool game before the international break. I was impressed with Liverpool, but I thought the manager was quite honest. I've spoken about it on a couple of podcasts I've been on since, that he's come out and pretty much almost said how he beat them. And they felt that United will go with 2 up front, which they have done at the start of this season. They usually were playing with one central striker, but they did flood the midfield, Liverpool, and they totally ran the game. The midfielders totally ran the game, and Salah and Diaz look like they're having the time of their life in that side at the moment. They absolutely ran United ragged, didn't they? The spaces that they seemed to pick up between the midfield and the defence was incredible, I thought. I
mean, the gap between United and the top teams in the Premier League, it just seems to be growing by the week, right? It's ridiculous. Liverpool played them off the park, and you know, in all fairness to Arne Slot and all the guys, they've almost gone about their business quietly, because a lot of people were kind of thinking, oh, could they fall off a bit this season? Well, they've won 3 out of 3 games. I don't think they've conceded a goal yet, which is wow. And he seems to be getting the almost new life out of these players like Diaz. You know, Salah potentially could have been off in the summer. Now he's, like you say, he's having the time of his life running ragged against their bitter rivals. So it's a real testament to Liverpool. But for United, I mean, the gap between those top teams and them just seems to be growing now. And it's a shame, because there's talent in that team. But I just don't know if it's a Ten Hag thing, if there's just something deeper at the club. I don't know. But they were outclassed totally.
They were. It surprised me, actually, how outclassed they were. Certainly like the midfield 3 of Liverpool, McAllister and Gravenberg, I thought were really good in midfield. They worked really hard. They ran a lot in midfield. I think that's with a front 3 as well, because they played the front 3 Liverpool. I just wonder, like, if our system would get changed to take on United. I'm not sure he'd be able to go in with the same system that he's been playing. I think he probably needs to revert to a 4-3-3 or the 4 the 3 can become a 5 when you're out of possession potentially. Do you think the system changes this weekend as we start to look at what a potential starting 11 may look like this weekend? Do you think he'd take a bit out of that Liverpool game and what Liverpool did against United at Old Trafford?
Definitely. I think he has to, because it's very much. I saw a thing earlier on Instagram where it was called El Sakiko, between team managers who are supposedly, nearly on the chopping block. I think both managers will change it. I think Ten Hag will look at. Well, actually, talk about Martin first of all. As you said earlier, he had this gut feeling after Brentford that he needs to make changes, and I think he will make changes. But for Ten Hag also as well, like he's got to, because you could argue that United are there for the taking for us right now. We're there for the taking for United. We haven't won any of our games so far this season, and we've only scored 1 goal, and that was basically a consolation finish. So he'll be looking at that, thinking if there was ever a performance on the telly as well to really kind of somewhat, United are here now, like a statement. You could argue it's this weekend as well. I think there'll be a lot of eyes on this game because it's 2 managers that are very much under pressure from fans and need to tweak their systems that they live or die by, really,
Yeah, be interesting to see if he does make a change in midfield. Casemiro got absolutely mauled, didn't he, by the press and fans alike after that game against Liverpool. Agate, they've signed. He wasn't quite in time, I don't think, for the game against Liverpool. There's talk that he may feature the weekend. I've not looked at all their team news. I'm hoping to jump on a podcast tomorrow and do get the Man United view on things. Hopefully, if my guest will come on, but there'll definitely be changes for United without any question. Changes for Russell. I've got kind of a predicted potential lineup, which I think he might go with. I'm going to pop it on the screen and get everybody's opinion on it. The guy may be a little bit out on this, but this would almost be what I think he might go with. Not necessarily my 11, but I think he makes changes. I think he scraps the back 5. I think Rachel said in the comments a minute ago, she said, please not 5 at the back. I am with you, Rachel, on that one.
Same.
But this is my potential team. I think it gives him a dilemma at the back. I think the 2 fullbacks stay as they are. So this is this is what I think it will be. I think Seguirara will start at right back. I think Walker Peters at left back. I think he will drop Taylor Harwood-Bellis and keep Jan Bednarek in there. Jack Stevens, I don't see getting dropped personally. The midfield, I think he put a 3 in midfield of Lallana, Downs and Ugachukwu. I think that will be pretty close to it. Maybe he keeps Aribo in there instead of Ugachukwu. Potentially. It's whether he throws Tyler Dibbling in and plays him in there with Lallana, because I feel that Tyler Dibbling is pushing for a start. It's just a big one whether he throws him in this game. Yeah. Cameron Archer, for me, has to start up front, personally. I think Brereton Diaz play off the left where he's played so far. I'm not convinced that Adam Armstrong starts the game. But give me your thoughts if you're tuning in live. If you're on catch up, get in the comments box below. Give me your thoughts to what I think the potential starting 11 will be. I'm sure people are typing away in that comments box at the moment. But what are your thoughts on my lineup there? The other one I did leave out was Mateus Fernandes. I think it'd be one of him or Lallana. I think he'd go with Lallana. I just think he'd bring him in for his experience and his quality. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I think so. Already that team looks better because it's not a back 5, which is nice. I think Lallana over. I mean, the team I wanted to see him put out, I put Fernandes in there just because I think in the minutes he's had this season and in that Cardiff game especially, I thought he was running the shop. I thought he looked excellent. But I can see why you would maybe want to go with Lallana in this game, as you say there. His experience. Yeah. Also, the guy did get an assist last week at Brentford. You
think Ugachukwu comes in? Like Jake's agreeing with me there. We're talking about Gravenberg. He did really bully United's midfield. I think the legs and the energy that's going to be needed in there is going to be massive in that midfield 3. I think Downs plays the 6 really well, but I'm with you, Adam. I think we need a really good central 3 in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be good to see. It'll be good to see Leslie start. I think, again, look, he definitely showed glimpses against Cardiff. I just think, he's somebody who just would potentially bully that United midfield, as Jake just said there. He's huge and he's already looks tailor-made for the Premier League. I just think, we've just got to get him minutes. And I think, Downs, we all know how good Downs is as a number 6, and he's adapted to this league nearly flawlessly. I think he's been probably our most consistent player so far this season. And to have a big body like Leslie next to him, and then one of Adam or Mateus, that is a really solid midfield 3. It's a shame that Joe Aribo isn't in that midfield 3, because I think Aribo's energy could also be very useful in this sort of game. But I can see why he hasn't set the world on fire really since the Newcastle game. And listen, if that midfield 3 is what we've just said there, already that's filling me with more confidence about getting something from this game at the weekend.
Yeah, how impressed have you been with Adam Lallana since he come back in? And I know he missed pretty much the whole of pre-season. He didn't play any game time, but a player that come in against Cardiff and looked really good. He only played around 30 minutes, but I thought he ran the game when he come on. He comes on against Brentford. He sets the goal up for Sugawara as well. He looks so good on the ball. I know he's 36, but he doesn't look a 36-year-old to me at all. Does he you?
No, not at all. I think that's almost, I think I said to you on one of your strings once, actually, that's almost like a bit of an inspired signing for those players, because it might be a free transfer. And, as you say, 36-year-old, but what he'll bring to the dressing room as just a leader for those young players, and, he might be 36 now, but I mean, as you say, he doesn't look it at all. He came on and he's just a consummate professional. And, I'm really happy for him that he actually got that assist, because, I think all Saints fans want Lallana to kind of have a really good swan song with us. I don't think maybe any of us would have thought that he'd have potentially been called into the team this early on. I mean, 4 games in, and we're talking about Adam Lallana starting for Southampton. That's crazy to me, seeing as, he was almost bought in and maybe looking at his 5th or 6th choice.
He was. A squad player, really. You thought. I had a feeling that kind of maybe some of these bigger games, the likes of United, Liverpool, when you just need those calmer heads, if you can get 60 minutes out of him, would be a massive bonus. And I think that this is a very good point by Jake in the comments. Jake, thank you for watching this evening. He said Aribo could be a very useful tool for you off the bench to inject energy and physicality, especially if Lallana isn't ready to play 90 minutes. I totally agree. I think Jake's spot on with that. That's exactly kind of like in my thought process, that you've got the energy of Aribo to bring on, because he is a decent player off the bench, and he's a much improved Joe Aribo, isn't he, compared to the one that we saw last time round in the Premier League. He's got himself stronger, he's got himself fitter, he gets around the pitch that little bit more now than he did before.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we signed Aribo, and I was really excited because, again, kind of high energy player, likes to play cutting in from the right with his left foot. And he never really worked from under Ralph, kind of scored a couple of goals, but then kind of was in and out of the team, But then last season under Russell, he just kind of got this second life, this new burst of energy, became really popular with the fans with his song that we all love to sing. But then just the improvement out of him was incredible, And I just think that, it's not a bad idea to have a player like that coming off the bench because of what he will bring in that energy. And I think also with Aribo, I wouldn't even be against trying him maybe out on the wing at some point, because I remember when Joe joined, he said, someone asked him, what's your kind of favourite position? And he did say, I like to cut in from the right. So maybe we could get this whole new dimension to Joe Aribo that we've not even seen yet. I mean, he's playing as a centre midfielder. Who's to say he can't play in this more advanced role cutting in, because he knows how to score a goal. I mean, he hasn't really done for us so far yet, but look at his time at Rangers and even for Charlton. He's a great player. He really is.
Yeah, he is a good player. Really, really good comment. Jake's superb in the chat. He says, does Steven Bednarek not worry you against Zerkey? Will he die? Yeah, I think Zerkey's a good player. I think it's how we deal with him. So that's why I wonder, how the system will change and how we deal with him, because he's definitely a player to be really mindful of. I've seen not loads of him so far. I've seen bits of him, but he did cause a few issues early on in that game against Liverpool. Makes good runs, doesn't he? So he's someone to be aware of, isn't he?
Definitely. You just need Stevens to have one of his masterful games against United, which we all know Stevens is up for it against Bruno Fernandes and Man United. And yeah, but it's crazy, right? Because as you say, if he does go to a back four, Taylor Harwood-Bellis will probably be the one who gets dropped, and that's crazy to me because I think all Saints fans were like almost maybe a bit naive to think that he would have this flawless transition from the Championship into the Premier League, and it's like he's kind of struggled these first few games, and quite rightfully so. I mean, Stevens is kind of this whole scapegoat narrative going on around him at the moment.
Yeah,
he's really put a foot wrong, has he, Martin?
No, I think he's done all right. I think Jack Stevens has played well. He's taken a lot of stick. I've stood up for him quite a bit on Twitter and across social media. A lot of people calling him out, but I don't think he's done. I don't think he's really put a foot wrong, to be honest. I think the other two are probably a little bit more under threat than Jack is. Jan Bednarek I really like. I love Taylor Harwood-Bellis, but I think he does look like a player he looks a little bit nervous. And does Russell take him out of the firing line right now? I'm not sure. But they've had words both times. He's come off in the game against Brentford and the game, I think it was at Newcastle. He come off as well, and he had words with him. He had words with him both times. No, it was against Forest. Come off against Forest at St Mary's. I remember looking down the touchline, and they were having a quite heated discussion on the sideline. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. I think he's got so many options in that back four. Armal Bella-Kotcha, a lot of people calling for him to start. I don't see him coming into the side. I like him as a player. If you get him on side, I think he's a really good player. Yeah. Don't think he comes in for the weekend by any stretch of the imagination. We need to speak about the man that's on the right hand side of our screen, because Russell spoke about the squad today and about injuries, and he said that everybody was fit other than, I think it was Kamaldeen Silamana. Obviously, Gavin Badoon is out with a long-term injury. So it looks like Ross Stewart's back in the frame. He's been training. There's been video clips of him. I just think we'll see something of him in this week, won't we? Whether we'll see anything of him Saturday. They play something in the cup, you would think, against Everton. Do you think we might see him on the bench the weekend, boys? And would you be excited to see him back involved?
I'd definitely be excited to see him back involved, because he's still very much to me like a new signing. Like, he played 3 times in the Championship last season, and they were all very small minutes. With Stewart, it's like I don't really know what to expect, because you look at the stats everywhere he's been, and he's a goal scorer. The only issue is that he's never played, or maybe not never, but rarely ever plays a full season because he's got injury issues. So I would like to hopefully see him on the bench for United, but I think maybe cup involvement against Everton would be more likely. And listen, who knows, with the way Everton are kind of going at the moment, he could even probably cause some damage. He's a big, tall, strong striker, quick as well. If you get him healthy, I mean, we've seen it at Sunderland. I know it's not the Premier League, but he could be pretty dangerous for us.
Yeah, he's got something about him, that's for sure. And he does give you that other option. He does give you that. And we weren't able to get another striker in. We've got Cameron Archer in, but he gives you a totally different focal point, a totally different style of player. I'm excited by him. Get him fit, and I hope he can stay fit. I think it's a perfect week for Russell, really, when you think about it, boys, because we're very fortunate that we have the League Cup game in midweek as well at Goodison Park, and an opportunity to give other players a game. And there's a few bodies that are going to need games of football, that's for sure. So looking forward to that. I'm going to do a watch along live for that. So if anybody wants to join me on YouTube, I'm going to do a watch along live on Tuesday night for the League Cup tie at Goodison Park. So looking forward to that one. You're going to tune into that one, Boise?
Of course.
Yeah, good man. We'll look forward to seeing everybody on that. I want to get score predictions now. So get involved in the comments box below, guys. Give me your score predictions for the weekend's game. I'm going to get the score prediction off Boise, what he thinks, how it's going to go the weekend against Man United. Just a reminder of some of those statistics. Southampton have failed to win any of their last 8 top flight home matches, drawn 2, lost 6, conceded 19 goals. Southampton have emerged winless from each of their last 15 meetings with the Red Devils. And Southampton's last home victory against Man United came all the way back in August 2003. And James Beattie scored the goal that day that saw Saints get the 3 points. So, does statistics go out the window, or is it all about the here and the now, Boise?
It's all about the here and the now. It's all, obviously, I can't wait to hear those stats 50,000 times on the telly on Saturday
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, Rachel, right there. I'd love 2-1. Yeah, you know what? I'd honestly, if we can get a draw out of this game, I think that'd be brilliant because
Massive.
not only is it a draw against a big team, which obviously, those points matter massively at the end of the season, but we're just off the mark. And the important thing for this team right now to kind of alleviate the pressure for Russell and just even those players and us fans who are just bricking it, just get off the board. And if that's a 0-0, if we start 5 at the back and we can somehow get a 0-0, it's a point. It's something to build off of. It's some confidence for those players. But it's all about the here and the now. Ultimately, we've got we just forget about the stats in the previous history. Just go for what's in front of you today. And I'm gonna go for 1-0 Saints.
1-0 Saints, mate.
1-0 Saints.
That would be amazing. Your friend Jake says, I'll stay optimistic for my power boys. See 2-1 Saints, man of the match, Ogachukwu, and Archer to bag a goal. But I see Zerky causing problems to the defence. I think it's going to be a tough game. I went on another show earlier. I think I said 3-0 Man United, which is a little bit harsh on Saints. I think it will be really hard. I think they'll look to bounce back. Do you know what? I'm just going to sit with a draw because I don't want to back my team to lose. Not really. It's a hard thing to back. You've got to always go with your team. But if we could get a 1-1 draw out of this, I'll be absolutely chuffed to bits because it'll take us nicely into a really big game next weekend. The pressure will mount, boys. See, if we don't get anything out of the game and we got absolutely walloped, and then we play Ipswich at home next weekend. They're down at the Amex against Brighton at the weekend. It puts massive pressure on next week's game where you see two teams that were both promoted last season.
Yeah, it's huge pressure. I just really hope we get something.
3-0 small bone hat trick.
Wow, that's a bold statement. He must be a big Saints fan. Listen. Questions will definitely start to be asked about the system, about Russell, if we don't get anything from that Ipswich game, and that's why this weekend is so important for that, and the cup game against Everton in the week. We just got to start building this momentum early, and if that starts with a point against United, and then who knows, maybe even if it's a penalty win against Everton, then that's 2 wins. That's all like that. That's 2 positives taken in the week, and the sooner we get this momentum going, the sooner we build off of this. This team is talented, and we play really good football when it's all working well. So the talent is there. We just need to believe. These players need to believe. And I think us fans just need to believe, carry on backing the manager. But it's very hard to imagine that if we don't get anything from Ipswich, then maybe Sport Republic. I mean, I don't know if you saw the report in the week, but Sport Republic are very, they're making it obvious that changes could be made if they feel that it's not going to be pragmatic enough to survive.
Yeah, I think things will pick up. Interesting comment, actually, from Jake again, who's just said about Rashford, he's not been looking great. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get dropped at the weekend, by the way. He does look very blunt, but an opportunity where his body language doesn't look great at the moment, just whether we could get at him down that right-hand side. That's kind of why I put Tyler Dibbling in my starting 11. I just feel the legs of Tyler Dibbling running in and cutting off that flank could be really good for Southampton. I think they need to have options out wide in this game. Talking about options out wide, we haven't spoke about Maxwell Cornet. He's come in at the end of the window, boys, didn't he? He gives us another option out wide, as did Ryan Fraser. Not sure if either of them start the weekend, but definitely gives Russell some really good options from the bench this weekend.
Definitely. Kind of, as Jake said earlier, about having a Rebo off the bench potentially. I think having Maxwell Cornet, who, I mean, we know what he done at Burnley a couple of years ago. In fact, I really wanted us to try and go for him when Burnley got relegated, because just play anywhere down that left-hand side. So he's something different. And to have to have him back, we know he can score a goal, and he's with him as well. He's got a point to prove, because everyone seems to think he's kind of finished in the Premier League, and it's like, he's not even 30 yet. So to have a player like that off the bench, who again, he's a player that knows the system very well, and he'll be really up for it. You know, I admire him greatly for how much he really wanted to push and get this move back to us in the summer. Like, if that's a player that doesn't want to be here and will give his all to wear this shirt, then I don't really know what is. So I think Cornet and Fraser off the bench, two really nice options.
Cornet's a great signing. Jake's spot on. He's a sort of, on his day, he's brilliant. He's powerful. He's pacey. He's everything we're missing, actually, at this moment in time at Southampton. I think he gives us a really good, because I think someone else said a minute ago in the comments chat, CS, we lack pace up front. Cornet will fit well. Yeah, I totally agree. We do lack a little bit of pace, a little bit of killer instinct. We need to inject that into our play. I think he does that the weekend. Unfortunately, I think Adam Armstrong gets dropped the weekend. I know it's really harsh on the man that got us back to the Premier League. I just wonder if he gets a starting berth at the weekend. I think there's some big decisions to be made. I can't wait to see the team line up a couple of hours before kickoff. It can come out now 75 minutes before kickoff, can't it? Those team lineups, Boise. Yeah. I've got my notifications on my phone. Just can't wait to see what he goes with.
Yeah, it's very, I'm just looking forward to having Saints back at the weekend, to be honest.
That's a great comment, by the way. Cornet could be your Mane off eBay. I like it. Brilliant. Jake's been a great contribution in the comments tonight. So, Jake, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in as well. We've had some good numbers. There's still 41 of you tuned in now. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. It would really help my channel. Smash a like on this video as well. I'd really, really appreciate it. Every comment, every subscriber means the absolute world to me. I absolutely love doing this. It's an absolute pleasure to come on here and produce these shows. A massive shout out, Boise, for coming on this evening. It's been brilliant to have you with us. I want you to join me again at some stage if that is possible, because you speak so well and you've gone down really well with fans of the channel.
Well, always a pleasure coming on, Martin, and it's just great. It's great to just kind of share everyone's thoughts about Saints. Obviously, we're a small club, family club. There's not many of us around all over England and everywhere else. Obviously, I don't live in Southampton, so for me, it's even more hard. It's just me and my dad up here. But it's great, to see everyone share their thoughts in the comments down below and just agree and disagree. But it's all good because it's, ultimately we're all together as one when it comes to this.
We're all fans of the same football club. We also have different opinions. I enjoyed a comment from a good friend of mine a little while ago, because you spoke about Tall Paul tonight, actually. And Mike jumped in the chat. I don't know if you saw the comment. I popped it up on the screen. He said, at least someone agrees with me about Big Paul. He's he wants to see him played. He wants to see him given a chance.
Why not?
You made a good point on that tonight. But it's been a brilliant show. I've really enjoyed it. Nearly 45 minutes in. And it's been superb. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back with another live stream over the weekend, that's for sure. Make sure you give me a follow over on TikTok if you're not already, at FootballMartin. Daily content on the build up to the game. I'll be doing a predictions video, so you can get involved in that at the weekend. And then I'll be around St Mary's with a fan cam at the weekend. So if you want to join us and jump on and give me some thoughts, you'd be more than welcome. But it's good night from me and good night from Boise. We'll be back with another live stream very, very soon.